Welcome to a concise exploration of production functions and how short-run and long-run costs shape firm behavior. In this presentation, we'll unpack key cost concepts, compare fixed and variable trade-offs, and connect those ideas to strategic decisions like plant sizing and technology adoption, so you can see how tactical choices today influence long-term competitiveness and optimal scale. This slide shows how long-run production is all about flexibility. Firms can adjust capital, labor, technology, and scale to find the most efficient input mix. Strategic planning aligns plant size with long-term demand, enabling growth and expansion while pursuing economies of scale. From the diagram, you can see this chain from input adjustability to lower per-unit costs and sustained cost minimization. Here, we contrast short-run and long-run cost behavior. In the short run, some costs stay fixed while others rise with output, producing a fixed plus variable total. In the long run, firms can reconfigure resources so that no costs are locked in, eliminating sunk constraints and fully optimizing scale and technology, which supports strategic cost minimization rather than tactical patchwork. This slide breaks down total and average cost shapes. Total fixed costs stay flat, while total variable costs rise with production, producing an upward total cost curve. Average fixed cost declines as output grows, average variable cost tends to be U-shaped, and average total cost reflects both patterns. Practically, firms use AVC for shutdown decisions and ATC for break-even planning. The LRAC envelope diagram shows how a firm selects the optimal plant size across possible short-run average cost curves. Each SRAC corresponds to a different capacity choice, and the LRAC traces the lowest achievable cost at each output level. The curve captures initial economies of scale as costs fall, and eventual diseconomies as output pushes beyond efficient scale. On the strategic implications slide, we highlight the difference between short-run constraints and long-run planning. Short-run limits force tactical responses like overtime or temporary hires, while long-run planning enables investments in new plants or technology. Recognizing the transition horizon helps managers time capacity investments to avoid suboptimal scale and align short-term actions with long-term objectives. Long-run flexibility unlocks economies of scale by allowing firms to expand output without proportional cost increases, lowering per-unit expenses. The slide links mechanisms like scaling, mergers, and automation to strategic benefits, enhanced competitiveness, and market share growth. In short, flexible long-run choices let firms exploit scale advantages and translate lower unit costs into stronger market positioning. This slide explains isocosts and isoquants for long-run cost optimization. Isocost lines represent all input combinations that cost the same given prices, while isoquants show combinations that produce a given output. The tangency point between an isoquant and an isocost identifies the least cost input bundle for a target output, guiding firms toward cost-minimizing input mixes. Diminishing marginal returns describe how adding more labor to fixed capital yields smaller output gains and raises marginal cost in the short run. In the long run, upscaling capital can restore productivity and lower per-unit costs when labor returns decline. The practical sequence is to monitor returns, pause variable input increases, invest in capital scaling, and then maintain cost efficiency. Under perfect competition, short-run profits attract entry and push supply up until prices fall, while losses cause exit and rising prices, so market forces steer toward a long-run equilibrium where price equals minimum LRAC. The result is an industry of optimally scaled firms earning zero economic profit and producing at the lowest cost-efficient output, maximizing consumer welfare. Policy shocks like taxes or new regulations immediately shift short-run cost curves and can raise shutdown thresholds, forcing some firms to exit. Over the long run, firms adapt by relocating, resizing, or adopting productivity-enhancing technologies, reshaping the industry. Effective policy timing matters because short-run shocks interact with innovation rates to determine how quickly the industry finds a new efficient structure. Distinguishing time horizons matters for strategic decision-making because short-run actions focus on variable inputs and immediate capacity tweaks, while long-run choices adjust all inputs and plan for technological change and expansion. Aligning short and long-run decisions requires mastering cost curves, return patterns, and optimization frameworks to sustain profitability and secure a durable competitive advantage.